Christian Business Connection, connecting your business or ministry to the world.
Good morning and welcome to the CBC Radio Show. I'm your host, Evangelist Nona Thomas, declaring that this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice, 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 and be glad in it. I hope that you are glad in it on this beautiful Sunday morning. Well, friends, we have got a phenomenal program to talk with you about today, as usual. I mean, you know how God does it here on the CBC Radio Show. And we're going to be speaking this morning with Mrs. Shannon Bagley, CEO of Home State Health, and Mr. Michael McMillan, the president and CEO of Urban League. They have got some amazing things to talk about and their partnership and collaboration to truly be a blessing to the St. Louis community. We're also going to be speaking this morning with Mrs. Judy A. Bentley. She is the founder, president, and CEO of CHIPS Health and Wellness Center. We've been blessed to have her on the program before, so she's back to talk about some great things that are going on at CHIPS. And we're going to speak this morning with Mrs. Burcell Brooks of JC Supper Club. Now, you know, we've had Mr. Reggie Brooks on the program several times, but we're going to talk to the lady of the house this morning, and she's going to give us some great information about JC Supper Club. Now, I encourage you to go to my website, thecbcradioshow.com, to find out more information about everybody who's on the program today, and then also get information about our TD Jakes bus caravan to the Mega Fest. That is going to be August 19th through the 23rd. We're going to have a great time. Travel with me. I want to be with you. Travel with me, okay? So we're going to take a short break right here. And when we come back, we're going to be speaking with Mrs. Shannon Bagley, the CEO of Home State Health, and Mr. Michael McMillan, CEO and president of Urban League. Stay with me. I'll be right back. One Church Ministries presents Sound the Alarm Prophetic Summit, Saturday, June 27th at 3 p.m. at the Airport Plaza Hotel, 4530 North Lindbergh, Bridgeton, Missouri. Free admission. Speakers include Evangelist Joseph Reed and Pastor and First Lady Nolan, Pastor John English, and Prophetess Nona Thomas. Some of the teachings include Guilty by Association, a prophetic word for leaders concerning musicians, the homosexual agenda, a clarion call to be filled with the Holy Ghost in this end time. Free Remnant Fellowship Dinner immediately following service. For more information, call 318-795-7562. Do not miss this life-changing event. Hello, St. Louis. This is Evangelist Nona Thomas of the Christian Business Connection, inviting you to travel with me to the TD Jakes Mega Fest in Dallas, Texas on Wednesday, August 19th through Saturday, August 22nd. Give me a call at 314-270-2225 for more information on how you can be a part of this amazing trip to the TD Jakes Mega Fest in Dallas, Texas. I look forward to traveling with you.
Hi, this is Reggie Brooks with JC Supper Club, located at 9053 Riverview Drive, right at the corner of Hall Street and Riverview. Do me a favor, stop by, have lunch or dinners with us when you can. We have a happy hour Tuesday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Give us a call if you ever want to place a to-go order at 314-755-1923. That's 314-755-1923. See you soon.
Welcome back to the CBC Radio Show. I'm your host, Evangelist Nona Thomas. And friends, I told you at the top of the program we were going to be speaking this morning with Mrs. Shannon Bagley, CEO of Home State Health, and Mr. Michael McMillan, President and CEO of Urban League. I'm so excited to have them in the studio with us this morning. We're going to have a great time talking about the things that are going on in the St. Louis area. So I want to say good morning to each one of you. Good morning.
Morning. Thank you for having us.
Well, good morning to you. Thank you for having me as well.
You're welcome. Now, Shannon is used to this question, so I'm going to ask you first, Michael, and that is this the day that the Lord has made for you?
Absolutely. And I am glad to be in it and thankful. And as we say at church, of course, God is good all the time, and all the time God is good.
You get an A+ this morning. Ooh. You get an A+ this morning. What about you, Shannon?
I can't follow that. I tell you, I feel very blessed to be here. I'm with Michael and Nona. I'm with yourself, and Angelina is with us as well. And very blessed to be here.
It's a good day. It's a good day. Well, I tell you, there's so much to talk about. I want to start off, guys, if I could, talking about the wonderful collaboration of Urban League and Home State Health. Michael, talk about that, would you?
Well, you couldn't have a better partnership than we have at the Urban League with Home State Health. Not only is Shannon a member of our board of directors, Michael Neidorf, the president of Centene, the parent company, is the national chairman of the board of the Urban League across America. That is the first time in the history of St. Louis that we've had a national chairman that is from this city. We're very proud of the work that we do in healthcare, education, jobs, community service, community activism, volunteering, giving back, and making a difference. You couldn't have a better corporate partner and someone that really cares about this community than Home State.
I agree with you, and that's so important. Shannon, as we've talked in previous interviews, the boots on the ground that Home State Health is, and partnering and collaborating with all the different agencies. It's just amazing, isn't it?
Absolutely. I think we've spoken before that you can't operate a health plan out of a corporate box. You've got to be on the ground, working with the community partners, really working with those individuals on the front line, because it's those individuals that you can collaborate with, that you can discuss different challenges, and then by understanding those challenges more, you can help develop policies and programs and different initiatives that can help remove some of those obstacles to what we see, obstacles to getting access to high-quality health care.
Yes, and I believe that the Urban League and Home State Health, you all have, from the conception of Home State Health, been together. Am I right?
Absolutely. Worked on many different projects. Last year, 10 months ago, when everything happened in Ferguson, Home State was right there to work with us with our job fair and resource fair that we provided to the community, where we had over 5,000 people come through Flow Valley and get job opportunities, social services, and get connected to people who could help them at a time of crisis in our community. Over the years, Home State has sponsored our Back to School and Community Empowerment Festival with the St. Louis Public School System, where we provide book bags, school supplies, health screenings, job opportunities, resume training, public safety seminars, and any and everything that families need for the entire city. They have done that since they were created and have been a wonderful partner, not only to us, but to so many different charities and organizations throughout the region, that it's been a fantastic collaboration.
It really has. It's amazing, Shannon, to think that Home State Health, it's only been since 2012. I mean, It seems like with the progress and so much that you all have been able to do, that it's just been much longer than that.
You really can transform, or at least play a role in helping to transform communities when you are really working with the partners, working with Michael's team, really understanding, gleaning information. It just sets you years ahead of where, rather than working in silos, you really are leveraging each other's, leveraging our resources, and really focusing together, pushing all in alignment towards the same direction, with a focus on education, healthcare, and really strengthening and empowering the communities that we all live, work, and serve.
I agree, and with the recent events that have happened in our community in the past year, this is the time for us to come together as a community, to be one family. Don't you agree, Michael? Oh,
absolutely. None of us by ourselves can fix the problems that have been identified when you talk about education, jobs, policing, and how we govern ourselves as a community. But when we work together with the business community, the corporate community, the civic organizations throughout the region, and then the charitable and business associations that bring people together, then you can have the resources to begin to work on some of these problems with the input and direction, of course, from the people themselves.
Yes.
So as Shannon said earlier, they are involved directly with citizens, directly with community organizations, serving on boards, being involved in committees, active in terms of hearing from the grassroots of people as to what they need. And they get out there in the middle of all of it to provide those resources, and especially go after trying to serve those who don't have access. That is something that Home State does very well. And they try to make sure that resources are there and information are there for people so that they can try to fight, especially some of the chronic diseases that we have in the African American community that plague us across the country, and try to do preventative work as opposed to the work that comes later on that's much more expensive and much more costly and damaging to the individual.
I agree. And I believe, Shannon, that's why you all are working so diligently with the faith-based community, with the churches and different organizations, aren't you?
Absolutely. There's so many different influential leaders. When individuals are stressed, when they are not in the right spot, in terms of health, when they're just looking for information, we work with this faith-based community to ensure that we're sharing that information, all the different benefits that are available, all the different screenings that should be done, all of the different opportunities and access points to healthcare, and really ensuring that that information is shared with the public, because there's so much knowledge gap in terms of benefits that are available and members not even, or individuals not accessing those benefits that are available. Last time we spoke, we talked a lot about same-day transportation. Mm-hmm. Many folks aren't aware that there's at no cost same-day transportation to same-day appointments. So individuals children that need to go see their primary care physician or their pediatrician, individuals that may be pregnant that want to see an OBGYN, it's important that we're able to provide that same-day transportation, because sometimes it's a little hard to plan. Things happen. Cars break down. Babysitters don't come. Something happens.
Right.
And so what we try to do is really working and understanding from the individuals themselves the challenges that they have getting to the doctor, and then we are building those policies to overcome those challenges. I think, Michael, one of the things 2 or 3 years ago, we were at the Chaffetz Center when you were holding your significantly large back-to-school event. I tell you, it was one of the first times I had a chance to meet with Michael. And Michael's just an incredible leader. He is passionate and energetic, and he really does – he has such a genuine belief and a genuine feel to what is happening to every individual you interact with, Michael. It's really incredible. And so that was one of the first opportunities I had to meet with Michael. But it was some of those events at that center. You had 15,000 kids walking through. It's such an incredible event. And Michael has planned it all for so many years. And we just luckily had the chance to become a part of that when we started in 2012. But it was at that event where we started to, really learn some of these challenges, asking individuals that are coming through the lines, and what are the challenges? And that's where you really start to shape your policies, by hearing from the individuals themselves, like Michael mentioned, what they face every day, and then how do we work together to overcome that? And if you don't ask the question, you simply don't know how to address the problem.
That's true. Sometimes they have to be hard questions, don't they?
Oh, absolutely. And Shannon is too kind with her compliments. She, as a CEO, was out there at Chaffetz Arena lifting heavy boxes and working all day in a very hot environment sometimes, and going out personally and talking to the students and then the seniors. We always have a component where we work with our senior community, and Home State has always sponsored that and been right up front talking to them, interacting with them, hearing their needs, and trying to provide resources for them, because, of course, they are one of our most vulnerable populations in terms of most of them being on fixed incomes without much capacity for any number of things that become more expensive with time. And Home State has been very generous and kind in terms of its support of the senior community and the students. And, of course, we're extremely grateful to them for that.
Yes. I'm glad that you mentioned your annual event in August. That is coming up soon. I know you're moving around and putting all that together. Is it just a piece of cake by now?
Not at all. not at all. We will actually be meeting with Dr. Adams and his leadership team tomorrow to discuss how we will collaborate with the St. Louis Public Schools this year and work together on a large-scale event and some other possible events for the community so that we can deal with those who are most in need.
Yes, I like when you said that, deal with those who are most in need. Shannon, when we've talked on several interviews, and what, we use the term boots on the ground, but it really is not a cliche. It is, I have found, Home State, you guys, you're there with your concierge program, with your physicians who come to the home, which I'm like, they still do that, these are really wonderful services that people need to know about.
Absolutely. That's a great point. One of the things that we've learned is there's a lot of anxiety sometimes to seeing that doctor. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of anxiety for our children. There's a lot of anxiety for new pregnant women. There's a lot of anxiety for families. And so we've established a program where we will send physicians to the home. So if you're having a hard time getting out to the physician, or there's a variety of obstacles where you can't get there, we'll send a physician to your home. We even send pediatricians to home. It's a great program. Our members are loving it. And again, it's of no cost to the individual. You really start to develop that relationship with not only the child, but also with the family.
Yes.
And kind of helping provide services to the entire family when that physician has a chance to be in the home and help really even just assess the entire environment. Sometimes we see a lot of kids with asthma. And often it starts with, are there different things in the house that, you may not even know it could trigger an asthma attack. But, by being in the home, you can help assess that situation and try to help provide some educational, healthy tips for the whole family.
Indeed. I want to let my listeners know that if you're just tuning in this morning, we're talking with Mrs. Shannon Bagley, the CEO of Home State Health, and Mr. Michael McMillan, President and CEO of Urban League. Now, there's so much that I want to ask you about, Michael. I mean, we couldn't even have enough time to go into all the programs that you offer for the metropolitan area. But in this part one, I'm going to ask you one question, and then I'm going to hit you with some other stuff in part two. Is that going to be all right?
That's going to be great.
I want to ask you, in your term as the position that you have now, what has been thus far your greatest achievement?
Well, I would say our greatest achievement has been the creation of the Save Our Sons program, which is a direct result of what transpired in Ferguson from us going out into the community and talking to people on the streets and asking them, how can the Urban League, as America's only social service civil rights organization, be of service to them? What can we do that would be more beneficial? How can we adjust our programs? What can we do that would aid the community right now in this time of crisis? And every single person told us we need jobs. We need ways to take care of ourselves. I need to do something so that I can make a livable wage as opposed to just a job that is paying me minimum wage. Mm-hmm. So what can the Urban League do to help? And we went back into the office and we looked at our data and we looked at our client base, and we found that for whatever reason, 80% of our clients are female single heads of household, and that men were just not coming through our doors for whatever reasons. So we said we're going to go out and get them and bring them in our doors and make sure that we deal with this crisis, because when you look at the statistics in North County, North City, East St. Louis, St. Clair County, and really all across America, young African-American males have triple the average unemployment rate across this country. And that is why you see so much frustration and anger and disgust in the community, because people feel helpless and hopeless. And many of the jobs that we used to have in the manufacturing sector, of course, are now overseas.
Right.
So if you just have a high school diploma, you can no longer in many ways take care of yourself and your family with the job that you used to be able to get, let's say, at the GM plant or in some other industry that you could make $20, $30, $40 an hour eventually. So we have to do more to adjust our programs to make sure that we go out and get these young men, bring them in our doors. And we're very proud of the fact that we just graduated our third class from the Save Our Sons program.
Wow.
We are placing them into positions and recruiting for the fourth class. And I am going to make sure that this program here is a national model for the Urban League, so that the almost 100 affiliates across the country will be able to adopt it. It's already being begun in various cities across the country, but we want to make sure that this is the place where people can look and see the success of this program. And once again, Home State has been there to help with that, where they have actually taken some of our applicants and are looking at hiring them for their new center out in Ferguson, because, of course, Home State and Centene were the first corporation to say, let's get in there and make a difference. Let us build a new center in Ferguson. Let's not wait for a white paper or a research study to be done or some type of consultant to fly in and tell us that we need to put more jobs there. Michael Neidorff and his team made sure right away we're going to invest. We're going to build a multi-million-dollar facility with jobs that are paying a livable wage right here in Ferguson, and show the community that St. Louis is going to make a difference and come out of this better than we were before.
Amen to that. Amen to that. I love it. I love it. Well, I tell you, we're going to take a break right here. I have so much more to talk with you all about. You going to hang around with me?
Absolutely.
Great. All right, friends, we're going to take a short break right here. Stay tuned for part two in the second half hour of the CBC Radio Show. I'll be right back.
Hi, this is Reggie Brooks with JC Supper Club, located at 9053 Riverview Drive, right at the corner of Hall Street and Riverview. Do me a favor, stop by, have lunch or dinners with us when you can. We have a happy hour Tuesday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Give us a call if you ever want to place a to-go order at 314-755-1923. That's 314-755-1923. See you soon.
Hi, this is Michael McMillan, President and CEO of the Urban League of Metropolitan St. Louis. Glad to be here with Evangelist Nona Thomas on the Christian Business Connection radio show.
Hello, St. Louis. This is Evangelist Nona Thomas of the Christian Business Connection, inviting you to travel with me to the TD Jakes Mega Fest in Dallas, Texas on Wednesday, August 19th through Saturday, August 22nd. Give me a call at 314-270-2225 for more information on how you can be a part of this amazing trip to the TD Jakes Mega Fest in Dallas, Texas. I look forward to traveling with you. Welcome back to the CBC Radio Show. I'm your host, Evangelist Nona Thomas. And friends, I told you at the top of the program, we were going to be speaking this morning with Miss Judy A. Bentley, who is the founder, president, and CEO of CHIPS Health and Wellness Center. We're so excited to have her back on the CBC Radio Show. I want to say a special good morning to you, Mrs. Bentley.
Good morning, Nona.
You know, I didn't prep you. You know the question I ask everybody when they come on the show, and that is this the day that the Lord has made for you?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You rejoicing?
Absolutely.
You're glad in it?
Absolutely.
Man, you get an A, I tell you. Well, you know, you have been rejoicing, and the community, I'm going to say, has been rejoicing in the services and the resources that CHIPS has provided for almost 25 years.
Yes, and it's a blessing. I never expected a small organization as we started out to be to last as long as we have. Mm-hmm. And it has a lot to do with the fact that there are still people who are uninsured and underserved. So we're here for the long run.
Yeah, I think your tent pegs are pretty deep by now. What do you think?
I think so.
Well, I know that you're in preparation right now for your 15th annual prayer breakfast. So by now, after 15 years, you think it's a piece of cake, or you still got to work at it?
Well, you know, it is a piece of cake, but, you know, we don't want the cake to get stale. So we continually prepare icing for that cake.
All right.
And we have community members who have been our partners and have allowed us to be the best that we can be. So yes, we consider ourselves a beacon on the near north side of St. Louis, mm-hmm. and we invite those who have who lack health insurance or who lack direction. Sometimes that is all that's needed. You can find us, our health team, in the community in various sites, such as libraries and grocery stores, at least sometimes in grocery stores. We'd like to be more visible in grocery stores, but certainly in places like food pantries, and we are at events out in the community. You can, as I said, in libraries, which is a big place to mm-hmm. catch people who are just kind of floating around out there, who don't realize that their blood pressures are sky high, or fail to go back to their doctors because they can't afford to pay.
Yes.
So that is a big piece of what we do. We call that project Healthcare Beyond Walls. And it's a comprehensive approach of finding people in the community and getting them access to care.
It really is. You know, take us back to the beginning when this was a vision, a dream that God placed within you. How did CHIPS begin?
You know, we are all born with a job to do. And sometimes we spend most of our lives trying to figure out what that is.
And that's so true.
and we go bump in the dark, looking for where we are designed to be. Mm-hmm. I was trained as a nurse, mm-hmm. Practiced as a nurse practitioner in women's health care for about 15 years. And the church that I attended, which is on the near north side, Saints Teresa and Bridget's, we had a very visionary pastor at that time. And then probably a year before we started, one of the health centers closed. And it left that near north side, the JVL area, without access to care. So we pulled together community members from the Rock Church and St. Matthew's Church and Saints Teresa and Bridget's. And we sat down with a group of people, 50, 75 people, on several meetings. And we made a community assessment of what they felt that the community needed. And ranking very high on there was health care and social services. So I was asked to start something without the benefit of federal dollars.
Oh, my.
to start something in healthcare. And
Yes.
that's how it started, in a church basement. And a benefactor built a building that we continue to be in. From there, volunteer physicians joined us. That's really how we are able to do the level of care that we do.
Yes.
Never intended to be a competitor with the existing healthcare system because we're not cut out to do that. And then there was a gap, and that gap is what we're filling. We didn't need to reproduce the primary care model, such as exists in the federally qualified centers, who do an excellent job. But we refer people to that center, those centers, as we find them, those clients who are appropriate for being there.
Yes.
So that's our job, is filling the gaps.
Filling the gaps. I love how you say that. And, you have been blessed with excellent partnerships and collaboration. Home State Health.
Home State Health has been a huge partner in helping us to pull those gaps, close those gaps in providing health care for those who are uninsured.
Yes. And what I found that with so many resources, with so many things that you have to offer, still there's even more of a need to get the word out, because some folks just might not be aware of what's right around the corner.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we encourage those that we touch, find somebody else that's in the same shoes you're in and get them to us or to other providers. But we hold ourselves out as the connectors. So we encourage, I commend people and commit them as advocates. Once we talk to them, now you're an advocate. So find somebody that experiences the same thing that you're experiencing, so we can help them.
That's right. I want to let my listeners know that if you're just tuning in this morning, we're talking with Mrs. Judy A. Bentley, the founder, president, and CEO of CHIPS Health and Wellness Centers. Now, we were talking before we started about your annual event that you have in September. This is the CHIPS Run, Walk, and Community Festival for the health of it.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Well, as I said earlier, we are located on the near north side of St. Louis, an area that's been pretty much abandoned, forsaken, certainly not getting the positive exposure that needs to happen to help a community to thrive. We decided 15 years ago that we're going to do something for the health of it. And we came up with a run-walk concept. One of our board members had an idea, who lives out in the Webster Groves area. They run and walk all the time. I said, we can do that right here in North St. Louis.
Right.
So we run right in the near north side, down the street. We have wonderful police protection. We run down Fall Avenue to St. Louis Avenue, across Grand Avenue, wrap around Vashon High School, and come right back to the center. And then we have a festival, and we attract people from all over.
Yes.
But what I'm really, really wanting to happen more aggressively is to get the members of our immediate community up and at them, get up, because they're standing on their porch and wave at us as we pass by. And I say to them, no, you need to be with us.
Come on.
With us. And we're walking for the health of it. We're not running from the policeman. We're not running from anything that's negative. We're running for the health of it.
Yes.
So more and more, I'd like that information to get out. And I want us to stay in the North Side area. I want us to stay in the community, because because that's what we need to be promoting, the strengths of our community.
Indeed. Now tell us where you're located and how can people get in contact with you to find out about the services that you provide?
We are located at 2431 North Grand. If you're coming down Grand, you'll see our Big Chip sign right there at North Market. There's a big church on the corner. We're on the church parking lot. On the north side of that parking lot, you'll see the CHIP sign. Our telephone number is 652-9231. We are there from Tuesday through Friday. You can always leave a message if you can't get through to us.
25 years, I'm going to say you've only just begun. Just can you share in closing with us even your expanded vision on what you see for CHIPS?
What I see for CHIPS and what I see for that Northside community is a facility that would house a complete wellness center. We do not have that. We need to be able to attract our community members into a facility that would allow them to be the best that they can be in the way of health education, health maintenance, nutrition counseling, financial counseling, certainly the ability to do some indoor exercise as well as walking well-maintained streets. I'm really an advocate for us getting our streets cleaned up. So it's a total vision of a North Side community that is healthy.
I like that. A community that is healthy, whether it's north, south, east, west, Timbuktu. We need healthy communities.
Exactly.
Well, I tell you, the work that you have done and are doing and your staff, and I can assume only endless volunteers,
yes,
has just been a blessing to that area. In closing, is there anything else that you'd like to say from your heart this morning, Mrs. Bentley?
From my heart, I'd like to say that it's good to know God. It's good to know that you're being used by a supreme creator. And it's good to know that you become part of that divine plan that helps your fellow man, woman, child to get to where they need to be. And that's where our destiny is to transform from this community to an eternal happiness community. But we have a responsibility to help our brothers and sisters to get there.
Yes. I was just saying recently, I believe in another interview, you can't beat God giving no matter how hard you try, but let's try real hard at serving and being a blessing as you have been to so many over these 25 years.
I try.
Thank you so much for being a part of the CBC Radio Show this morning.
It's my pleasure.
All right, friends, we're going to take a short break right here. And for more information on CHIPS, go to the website, www.chipsstl.org. I'm going to take a short break right here. Stay with me. I'll be right back. Hello, St. Louis. This is Evangelist Nona Thomas of the Christian Business Connection, inviting you to travel with me to the T.D. Jakes Mega Fest in Dallas, Texas on Wednesday, August 19th through Saturday, August 22nd. Give me a call at 314-270-2225 for more information on how you can be a part of this amazing trip to the T.D. Jakes Mega Fest in Dallas, Texas. I look forward to traveling with you.
Hi, I'm Angelia Bills, Vice President of Communications for the Urban League of Metropolitan St. Louis, and I'm glad to be here with Evangelist Nona Thomas on the Christian Business Connection Radio Show.
One Church Ministries presents Sound the Alarm Prophetic Summit, Saturday, June 27th at 3 p.m. at the Airport Plaza Hotel, 4530 North Lindbergh, Bridgeton, Missouri. Free admission. Speakers include Evangelist Joseph Reed and Pastor and First Lady Nolan, Pastor John English, and Prophetess Nona Thomas. Some of the teachings include Guilty by Association, a prophetic word for leaders concerning musicians, the homosexual agenda, a clarion call to be filled with the Holy Ghost in this end time. Free Remnant Fellowship dinner immediately following service. For more information, call 318-795-7562. Do not miss this life-changing event.
Hi, this is Reggie Brooks with JC Supper Club, located at 9053 Riverview Drive, right at the corner of Hall Street and Riverview. Do me a favor, stop by, have lunch or dinners with us when you can. We have a happy hour Tuesday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Give us a call if you ever want to place a to-go order at 314-755-1923. That's 314-755-1923. See you soon.
Welcome back to the CBC Radio Show. I'm your host, Evangelist Nona Thomas. And friends, I told you at the top of the program we were going to be speaking this morning with Mrs. Bercille Brooks, who is the manager event coordinator for JC Supper Club. I'm so excited to have this woman on our program. I'm telling you, we've been talking with her husband, Mr. Reggie Brooks, for several weeks, but we're going to hear from Mrs. Brooks this morning. So good morning, Bercille.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm great. Now, you know, I didn't prep you on this question, but I ask everybody this question before we start, and that is this the day that the Lord has made for you?
It is definitely the day that the Lord has made for me.
Amen. You rejoicing and you're glad in it?
I definitely am.
All right. Well, I tell you, St. Louis is definitely glad about JC Supper Club. You all are doing an amazing work there in North County. Tell us about JC Supper Club, would you?
Yes, JC Supper Club is actually my husband's vision, his dream, and I'm just along for the ride to support him. We have no American cuisine. One of our specialties, I'm sure you've probably heard about it, is the water tower. We have excellent wings. We're open actually Tuesday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., and Saturday, 4 p.m. to 1 a.m. And then starting this Sunday, well, tonight actually, we're going to be opening up at 7. We have Melvin Turnage Band playing. So this was something to relax and get ready for your work week. And showtime starts at 8 p.m.
Well, I tell you, it's definitely a relaxing ambiance. I love the ambiance of JC Supper Club, not to mention the food. And if I could go back to that water tower, it is amazing. Tell folks what that is.
Actually, the water tower is one of our appetizers. It's fried fish, and it's on a bed of chips. And then it's topped with lettuce, tomatoes, onions, black olives, jalapenos. Then it's topped with cheese and a spicy aioli sauce.
St. Louis, all I can tell you is you got to get the water tower. It is so unique. It is delicious.
Yes. And you know what? I actually haven't had it in a while. Maybe I'll get it tonight.
I think you should. Now, I also want to say that, you know, your facility is so multi-purpose. It's a restaurant, it's a lounge, it's a ballroom. Tell us about that ballroom space, because we have folks who are listening right now who may want to have a church anniversary event, corporate meetings. You all can do all of that, can't you?
Yes, we can. We actually just put in a projector, so we can be perfect for a corporate meeting, or if you want to have your special event, have pictures played, slideshows, if you want to show video. We're excited about the new projector that's went up. We can accommodate for weddings, birthday parties, anniversaries, baby showers, wedding showers. We can really help you with any event that you can imagine.
I'm glad that you said weddings, because you all really have had some very nice weddings there just since you've opened, haven't you?
Yes, we've actually had 2, and I think we have 3 more. But don't worry, we got other dates that's open. If you want to have your wedding there or your reception or both, you can give us a call. The best number for that to call is 314-801-8660.
Great. Now, I know we've talked several times with Mr. Brooks, and I said we have got to have Mrs. Brooks on the program today to talk about this dream and this wonderful thing that God has birthed. And you know, I really was encouraged when you said that, you know, you're here to help. You're here to help your husband further his dream. I mean, that really says something right there, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. We're a team. Of course, we keep God first, then our family, then our businesses. So I think if we keep everything in that order, we'll be okay. We work together on everything as far as raising our children. We actually have 2 small children, ages 5 and 1, but they're a part of it. If you come, you may see them around. Actually, the ballroom is named after my 5-year-old daughter, Ashton, so it's called Ashton Ballroom. And she's excited about it. She loves it. When we're at home, she's always like, well, Mommy, you're getting ready to go to JC Supper Club. You got to go to work. I'm like, yeah.
Well, one thing I'm going to say, because I've been there several times, and I've actually had one of our Christian Business Connection networking meetings there. Everyone enjoyed the ambiance. The food was spectacular. Just the whole setting. It's so obvious to see when you walk in that facility. It is truly a class act, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. We try to make it that our guests feel comfortable. They feel like they're with family. We want them to feel like when you come, you can just relax. We have our staff. They're all very nice people, just well-rounded, down-to-earth people in a great atmosphere.
It is. Give us the address and phone number, because we have folks right now, I'm sure they'd like to book their celebration there. We're at 9053 Riverview Drive, St. Louis, Missouri, 63137. We're right where Riverview and Hall Street meet. Our phone number, we actually have 2 numbers, so I'm going to give you 2 of them. The main line, if you want to place a call-in order, you can dial 314-755-1923. Again, if you want to book the event, if you want to talk about booking a meeting, you can dial 314-801-8660. Wonderful. You know what? In fact, give us that number one more time, would you?
Yes, 314-801-8660.
Great. Thank you so much. I'm so glad we had an opportunity to have Mrs. Brooks of JC Supper Club on the program. Is there anything else you'd like to say in closing?
No. You know what, Mrs. Thomas, I did want to mention, I know some people do prefer the email, so if you don't mind me giving an email,
sure,
that can work as well. It's just jcsupperclub@gmail.com.
Great. jcsupperclub@gmail.com. That's easy.
Yes. Thank you for the opportunity, and have a blessed week.
Oh, indeed. Thank you, Mrs. Bercille Brooks of JC Supper Club. All right, friends, we're going to take a short break right here. Stay with me. I'll be right back. Hello, St. Louis. This is Evangelist Nona Thomas of the Christian Business Connection, inviting you to travel with me to the T.D. Jakes Mega Fest in Dallas, Texas on Wednesday, August 19th through Saturday, August 22nd. Give me a call at 314-270-2225 for more information on how you can be a part of this amazing trip to the T.D. Jakes Mega Fest in Dallas, Texas. I look forward to traveling with you.
Hi, this is Reggie Brooks with JC Supper Club, located at 9053 Riverview Drive, right at the corner of Hall Street and Riverview. Do me a favor, stop by, have lunch or dinners with us when you can. We have a happy hour Tuesday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Give us a call if you ever want to place a to-go order at 314-755-1923. That's 314-755-1923. See you soon.
One Church Ministries presents Sound the Alarm Prophetic Summit, Saturday, June 27th at 3 p.m. at the Airport Plaza Hotel, 4530 North Lindbergh, Bridgeton, Missouri. Free admission. Speakers include Evangelist Joseph Reed and Pastor and First Lady Nolan, Pastor John English, and Prophetess Nona Thomas. Some of the teachings include Guilty by Association, a prophetic word for leaders concerning musicians, the homosexual agenda, a clarion call to be filled with the Holy Ghost in this end time. Free Remnant Fellowship Dinner immediately following service. For more information, call 318-795-7562. Do not miss this life-changing event. Welcome back to the CBC Radio Show. I'm your host, Evangelist Nona Thomas, and friends, I told you that we were going to do part 2 of our exciting interview this morning. We're so blessed to have in the studio with us today CEO of Home State Health, Shannon Bagley, and also Mr. Michael McMillan, President and CEO of the Urban League. I tell you, we've been having some good conversations today, haven't we, guys?
Yes, we have.
You know, and it's easy because we've been talking about the collaboration, the partnership of Home State Health and Urban League and just all of the different agencies and the different services. Now, Shannon, I posed a question to Michael, and I want to give you that same question. And that is, what has been your greatest, you feel, success since the inception of Home State Health?
You know, I would say one of probably the most touching moments. We started in 2012, and we started helping about 45,000 individuals, primarily women and children. And over the years, we've grown now to about 80,000 individuals that we have an opportunity to touch and really impact their lives. But over the last 2 years, we've been able to, with different programs, whether it be our same-day transportation, whether it be our educational programs and care management programs, our concierge programs, a variety of different ways that we try to impact individuals' lives. But probably the greatest outcome of some of the things that we do is our newborn neonate rates. I would say, and it's not a formal program in terms of some of the things that Michael mentioned, but over the last 2 years, we've been able to reduce neonate rates for newborn children by more than 30%.
Wow!
And what that means is you are impacting the lives of unborn children.
Yes.
And they will have their lives forever changed. And we know that the infant mortality rate in North County, for instance, is worse than some third world countries.
Yes.
And to be able to come into the community, and that we are so grateful to be here, and to work with all the folks on the front line to overcome many of the challenges, or at least continue to try to overcome those challenges, and to be able to take pregnant women and deliver healthy children and reduce that neonate rate by more than 30%, you are impacting lives that will forever shape their lives, these young children. And so I would say, honestly, that has been such an incredible, touching moment to know that you're changing the lives of unborn children forever.
Yes. And really what Home State Health is doing and Urban League, you are changing the lives of so many people every single day. You know, all of the programs and the different things that you offer at the Urban League, we couldn't go through all of it, but can you just kind of touch on some things that you think are really pivotal right now?
Well, absolutely, and thank you for the opportunity. As the number one provider of services to the African-American community over the years, with a 97-year history in St. Louis and 105 years across the country, we are proud of the fact that last year we served a record number of people. We had 91,000 plus clients. We operate in St. Louis City, St. Louis County, East St. Louis, and St. Clair County, and are working to expand that footprint and serve even more people. It is our goal to serve over 100,000 by the time we reach our centennial in 3 years. We do that by working on 26 different programs that focus on education, housing, economic development, jobs, and overall sustainability. And we focus it really in two different avenues. One would be basic needs, and the other would be empowerment. So people come to us when they need food, when they need clothes, when they need their rent paid, when they need assistance with their utility bills on basic needs. And then we try to work with them from an empowerment standpoint on how do I get a job? How do I go from being a renter to being a homeowner? Yes. How do I clean up my credit so that I can then get the type of loan that will then give me the capacity to live the American dream and have my own home? And, of course, as a civil rights agency, we always have advocacy where we try to work for our clients to make sure that the voice of the voiceless is heard and that we let the business community know the interests and needs of the community and that we work together to try to work on solutions and be a place of common ground where the business community, the government, and the African-American community can come to find resolutions to issues in the urban core.
You know, the two things you said, to meet the basic needs of people and to empower them, because, you know, sometimes folks just feel so helpless in their situation. And to know that somebody cares. Where can I get help? Does anybody hear me screaming? And then once you feed them, to help them fish for themselves. That's important stuff, isn't it?
Yes. No, that's what we've done for 100 years almost here locally.
Yes, yes. Shannon, I know that the heart, you know, this is your heart. You know, you shared with me on one of our interviews just your background and, you know, your mom and how, you know, she really set a foundation for you for people, for having a heart for people.
Absolutely. You know, when I was a kid, I had this wonderful opportunity. My mom worked with foster care children for over 25 years. I'm from Central Illinois, and my weekends were generally spent with foster care kids. And we would travel all around the state, and we would go to different groups. And then I had a wonderful chance to really get to know challenges in life, and it has forever grounded me and shaped me. And I really honestly believe that we have a responsibility to help the most vulnerable citizens. You know, as Michael mentioned, the individuals that can't quite help themselves yet. And how can we ensure that we're providing education, that we're engaging individuals and families in healthcare decisions, and that we're empowering those individuals to take control of their health and their well-being and to provide them the tools to do that, whether it's behavioral health or medical health or dental or vision. There are so many different aspects that if we can help with education and we can help with their health needs, it's just one more step towards that road of transforming the communities that we all are working together to really ensure that people have a healthy well-being.
Indeed. I know we're right now in the middle of an open enrollment period, aren't we?
We are. So right now, about once a year, Mo HealthNet individuals have the opportunity to take control of their health and choose a health plan. And so from now until about the middle of June, possibly into June, but the month of June for the most part is really when individuals have an opportunity to select a health plan that they feel kind of fits their needs the best. It's one more step to empowering individuals to engage and be proactive in their healthcare decisions.
Give us the website for Home State Health because I believe folks need to go to that site. It's very user-friendly, and they can find out exactly what and how their needs can be met.
Sure. You know, we believe in simplicity, and this healthcare industry is incredibly complex. So we've designed not only our programs and our outreach, but also our website and our tools tend to be pretty simplistic and just straightforward.
Yes.
And so our website is www.homestatehealth.com.
Great. Michael, I know there are some great things that are coming up this summer and in the next couple of weeks that Urban League is a part of. Am I right?
Absolutely. We're very excited over the fact that on June 19th, we will have our 12th annual Salute to Women, which is one of our signature events that we're very, very proud of. We are honoring some fantastic women who have done a tremendous amount of good work, not only in their professional life, but also in their personal life in terms of giving back, making a difference, being a role model for young women and all people because of the really significant things that they have done. And we're proud of the fact that Shannon was one of our awardees last year. And
it's a wonderful event.
Among others have been honored. We try to make each woman queen for a day.
Well, let me tell you, I was there and I felt like a queen, okay? It was a wonderful event.
Thank you.
How can you top last year?
Well, each year we try to do something unique and different and bring in some great entertainment and to have something phenomenal and some people to inspire you. So I will wait for you to be inspired that night. And then we'll talk at the end of the evening and see if we have topped last year.
Yeah. Well, I'm telling you, it is a stellar event. But, you know, I think that's what Urban League is known for, the excellence and the quality and the compassion. When I saw I really was overwhelmed, y'all. I really was. And because I saw these women, you, Shannon, who were representing not only the work that you do, but the heart that you have for what you do. And it was so sincere, wasn't it?
Oh, it's a very humbling experience. And what I mean is that you are just surrounded by incredibly talented individuals that have had such an impact on the people they serve, on their communities, and in their field. It's really overwhelming. I think and I was really taken aback by just the level of excellence and just the sophistication that the Urban League always brings to the table. That nothing is ever done. Everything is done in a way that is just. I can't find the right word, but it is a level of excellence that is so refreshing because you just don't see that at happening in different organizations at the level that Michael does, and it's just a beautiful event. It's very inspiring.
I agree. In society now, sometimes everything is we'll just get it done. It's mediocre, but it's done in excellence. Now, folks can still get tickets, can't they?
Oh, absolutely.
Tell us how they can do that, because I know folks have got to, especially the way we built it up, they got to come and see.
Well, you can go on our website at ulstl.com, or you can call 615-3600 and purchase tickets at this point. We have a few remaining, and we're excited about the fact that Angela Winbush will be there. Cheryl Miller, the ESPN broadcaster and former basketball player herself, along with 12 local women who have done a fantastic job. We will have celebrity guests, Richard Roundtree, Richard Gant, Zernona Clayton, music and entertainment by Ray Goodman and Brown, and a few other surprises that night.
Okay, now, if I remember correctly, Ray Goodman and Brown was there last year, right?
They were.
Okay, all right. Y'all, you got St. Louis, you got to be there. That's all I can tell you. That's all I can tell you. Well, we're almost out of time. One of the things that I also want each one of you to touch on is, you can have passion and excitement when you start something, and then sometime it weans. What keeps you going, Shannon?
To me, I think it's the small things. It's running past it as an individual that calls into our customer service center and they're challenged and they are struggling and they are stressed, and to be able to spend time with them and maybe send someone out to their house, help them find their way, or at least in the situation that they're in. And at the end of that call, that individual was impacted and has really, on a different road or a different path for having that engagement. It's the one-on-one individual comments, questions, feedback that you get that reminds you why you're doing this.
Yes.
It reminds you that everybody you touch, whether it's one person or whether it's hundreds of people or thousands of people, it's one person's life, and that time of their moment and their time in their life where they're struggling, and they just need someone to believe in them and to help them find their way and to put a couple of things together and to help really engage them. And I think that for me, it takes one touch, one call, one discussion, and it just re-energizes you when you get down.
Yes. Same question for you too, Michael.
Well, really the same spirit of what Shannon just mentioned, and it comes in a twofold way for me. When I was at St. Louis University High School and St. Louis University, we were constantly taught the Jesuit mission to be a man for others, that we should use our God-given talents to make a difference in this world and to live a life like Christ would want in terms of helping others. And then secondly, when I was at St. Louis University, and I had the privilege of being taught under the late Dr. Barbara Woods, who was the director of the African American Studies Institute, we had to read 3 books in one of our classes. It was Up From Slavery, The Soul of Black Folk, and the National Urban League's State of Black America. And what I was reading in terms of the history and the issues and the problems that Booker T. Washington and W.E.B. Du Bois were talking about and how we needed to move forward, especially in the African-American community, and then having to read The State of Black America, I found that really, unfortunately, we were talking about many of the exact same issues 100 years later. And it was at that moment that I decided to withdraw from the business school and change my major and focus on African American studies and political science, because I felt between those two things, in terms of the government and the not-for-profit and social service sectors, that I would focus my career on those, because I didn't want other African Americans and other people 100 years later after me to have to read about the exact same problems and that we had not made a significant difference. So those are really the two things that keep me going, to want to make a difference and give back and try to help be a part of the solution as opposed to the problem.
I absolutely love it. I tell you, to my listeners, as you've been listening to this program this morning, I believe that you've been encouraged. You probably have a new take on home state health and the Urban League, some things perhaps you didn't know. In closing, are there any final thoughts that you have, Shannon, that you'd like to share?
You know what? I just, kind of in the spirit of Michael's comments, we all have an opportunity to make a difference to those who who we can help serve with and help provide. And, I just encourage us all to continue to stay focused and to help each other. Sometimes it's just the small things. But every day, there's so many opportunities to help serve and help our communities grow in so many different aspects. And we each play a role in that.
We each play a role in it. And, I always say you can't beat God giving. So,
That's right.
we just keep on doing it. Don't you think?
Absolutely. You cannot beat God given because everything we have is a blessing. And one of our blessings has been Shannon and Home State Health and the partnership and the attitude and, the real desire to want to make a difference and not do it from some far aloof place, but to be personally involved and personally engaged with everyone, not only just the corporate leaders and the CEOs, but also the people on the street.
Yes.
And to hear their issues. And I thank you, Evangelist, for having us on your show. And I thank the station for giving us this opportunity because, as Dr. King said, everyone can be great because everyone can serve.
That's it. Well, you know what? I think you've just preached a sermon. Now, if you hear me preaching that title, don't get mad at me because I stole it from you.
All right.
Well, thank you again. I just appreciate you all for being in the studio. Thank you, Mrs. Shannon Bagley, the CEO of Home State Health, and Mr. Michael McMillan, President and CEO of Urban League.
Thank you.
Bless you both for being a part of the program. Wow, what an exciting program. Thank you to all of my guests for being on the program. Go to the website, CBCRadioshow.com for more information. As in closing, always I say, to God be the glory.
Christian Business Connection. Connecting your business or ministry to the world.